All right, guys, welcome. This thing won't stay still. To the Off the Bench podcast. We have Matt Macmillan in the studio with us. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Frank. Thanks for having me.
Glad you came down.
Yeah, not too bad. 3-hour drive.
Dude, what are you, like 6'8"?
I'm 6'4".
Only 6'4". Talking to a guy that's 5'7" and a half-ish. Where'd you grow up?
Jersey.
You grew up in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And what'd you do before you got your insurance license?
Car sales, 4 years.
Really? How old are you?
I just turned 26.
Okay. Did you play ball?
Yeah, I could play college football.
For who?
Got recruited to go play at East Stroudsburg, messed up my knee, and then ended up playing up at Cortland, upstate New York.
What position?
Offensive guard.
Nice. So you pull.
Mm-hmm.
Smoke. You watch what they do on ESPN? They do the pancakes.
Oh, yeah. Pancakes.
That's funny.
That was our stats. That was our only stat.
That was the only one you cared about, right? How many people you put on their back? College, that makes sense. This is a good industry for college athletes or athletes in general. So when did you get your license?
I got licensed last summer, but really didn't do anything because the car business still treated me pretty well at that point. Jumped over here in December when basically inventory hit. There was nothing.
Right.
I started selling cars and wasn't going to get paid on it for about a year.
Jeez.
At that point, when they would literally make the car, send it overseas to us, and then I would finally get paid on.
Yeah, and people are supposed to live how? I mean, that industry. Will that ever recover from that? Like, seriously?
I really don't think it's ever going to go back to the way it was pre-COVID. Right after we came back from COVID, there was about a year that, for us being in the car industry,
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing better in the world.
Sure.
Money-wise, but then once that inventory dried up,
yeah, it was
nothing.
done. Yeah, and now most of those good sales guys have gone and found other things to do.
Oh, yeah, everybody fled to other ventures.
It's all, listen, the last 5 cars I bought, I'm like, yeah, I'm not coming in. You can do it through email or over the phone, text, and then if I have to sign something, I'll come in and sign it.
Exactly.
Literally, I want to be in and out in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's going to move towards. So, glad you made that transition.
Oh, I'm glad I did too.
Yeah, I bet. So, you're 100% telesales.
100%.
How long you been doing that?
From the beginning, I did a little bit of in-field work in the first month, 2 months, but then that's really when everything was transitioning to telesales in a sense. I mean, people were trying to attempt it, start it. The carriers were coming out with the e-apps. That's when it caught my eye. I was like, okay, I'm brand new to the industry. Nobody really in the insurance industry, for the most part, does telesales. So this is my one chance to really get in from the ground floor and try to figure it out with everybody else.
Yeah.
To be able to really scale it to where I thought I could scale it to.
And I mean, you by far are the best we have.
I appreciate that.
It's not even close. So kind of walk me through that process, like the ups and downs, because I think people see where you're at, right? And they'll go, dude, it must be easy for him. Or like, he don't have any problems, or he just picked it up right out the gate. I know for a fact that's not the case.
Oh, no.
How many times did you have to talk yourself out of quitting?
I'm not the biggest quitter, but it definitely was tough on the mental.
Let me rephrase that. You're right, because folks, that's a terrible question asked an offensive guard. How many times do you have to talk yourself out of finding another job and moving to part-time to do this?
Oh, it was tough. It was definitely going from the money I was making in the car industry to basically nothing to trying to figure out a whole new. Because sales is sales, but I'll be the first to say this is not sales. This is not me trying to put you in a car for more than you should be paying on a car. This is me helping a family put protection in place for their assets, for their financial future.
Sure.
So I don't see this as sales. It's more of just creating, processes and systems to be able to talk to as many families as possible in a day.
I can see that, because if I come into your dealership and I really want that car, you can get me in there.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'll stretch myself.
Mm-hmm.
Kids might not eat for a day out of the 7. I mean, they'll eat 6 days out of 7, right? People will convince themselves and they'll justify it, right?
Exactly.
But with insurance, it's very different. I felt the same way. I was in the mortgage industry, and that was not sales either. It's like taking orders. How do I save $250 a month? You don't have to sell that, right?
Exactly.
But it's hard to show. I don't want to say it's hard to show value, but unless somebody's been through losing a loved one and they didn't have life insurance, you can't really get them to understand, right? Because people are stubborn and hard-headed. So, all right, so walk me through the process of, what it was like when you started, all the things that you went through and the ups, the downs, and then really how many people you've talked to, you think, over the last couple, 3-4 months to get yourself where you're at now?
Let's put it this way. I would say came in really December, January, kind of figuring out the field, trying to do kind of 50-50, trying to figure out the phone a little bit, but also doing what everybody else was doing here,
Sure.
Still to make the money. But then I would say January came, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out telesales. If I do it or not, this is what I'm going to figure out. If I figure it out, great. If not, I'll go figure out something to do.
Sure.
And that's when I put my head in the sand. But I would say January, February, March, those were some trying months for me. Those were some trying months. Definitely went through a lot of tribulations trying to figure out things, talking to a lot of people, talking to people all over from all over the country in this company.
Jesse, and who's that?
Oh, yeah, Jesse from Primetime. Did a lot, but he's more of the when I started seeing the success. But before that, I was reaching out to almost everybody and everybody who was trying to attempt telesales, putting out the content on YouTube, all those kind of stuff.
Right.
I was reaching out, trying to figure out what they're doing, how they're making this work. But obviously me being brand new to insurance, brand new to selling over the phone, brand new to
right.
It's going to take some time. And I'll be the first to admit, January, February, March, didn't really make a lot of sales. It was more that was me figuring everything out, getting the systems, getting everything put together. So I would say more so April, May, those are started coming out of the woodworks in terms of sales. And then I would say June and July is when I really turned everything up in terms of doing a lot more production. And I would be the first to say I'm not even close. I would say
really,
I'm still a rookie, bro. I'm still a rookie.
Well, and I can agree. Like 10,000 hours, you're a pro, right? 10,000 appointments, in my opinion. But like, so you reach out to all these people you didn't know.
Didn't know
and
soul.
FFL National wasn't known for telesales, so we had nobody you could talk to here.
Exactly.
Where is it easy to get a hold of people?
Yeah, everybody's very receptive. Everybody really is receptive. Everybody's here to help you, because they would want the same for their agents.
Sure.
If they want it, I'm saying they would reach out for a different instance. But yeah, for the most part, I would say 98% of everybody in this company really does want to help each other out and is very happy to share what's working for them and how it might be able to work for you.
Yeah.
Things like
Dude,
that.
I love that. And nobody told you to do that.
No.
And God, I love that.
I literally found Jesse off Instagram. I mean, obviously saw him at convention, he was up on stage, Hall of Fame, blah, 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 his story. But, just following through Instagram, one day on one of his stories, he literally just puts up, hey, creating this bing bong dials. Anybody who wants to try telesales, jump in here. We're all going to be like figuring out together.
Right.
So what did I do? The next day it was in there, and I haven't looked back since. So, I mean, that I will really attribute most of my success from that group, Bing Bong Das. And it's not just Jesse. It's not just, Jesse and his organization. It's agents from all over the country. And nobody really has a tie together, but everybody is like, we're a little family in there. Like, it literally feels like, we're almost like a work crew. Like, we have those inside jokes, things along those lines. 'Cause we're together.
You've been doing it,
8 to 10 hours a day, since I would say Bing Bong Dials came out in, I want to say end of April, beginning of May, maybe.
Right.
Somewhere around that. And I would say within 30 days of me being in there is when everything went through the roof, because everything's so duplicatable in there, because you're able to have everybody in there. Everybody's able to watch everybody present.
Right.
So you can watch the top producers, people who are actually producing at a high level.
Right.
Go over the presentations 10, 15 times in a day.
Yeah.
You can't go to the house and follow them around. And
this is true. And you can only do that with one person.
And this is, you get it from everybody.
That's right. And different perspective, different personalities, different tones. Dude, I love that. Bing, and the name is hysterical to me. Like,
Bing Bong. It's because of the Zoom. Whenever you log into a Zoom, you hear Bing Bong. Like that, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm almost 100%.
I was wondering what the hell he was thinking. I'm going like, could you? I mean, FFL something like Bing Bong, but you won't forget it. No, you won't. It's easy. And Jesse, it's like, dude, anybody, and that's the way, dude. Matt, and you've been here less than a year. I've been here since day one. In day one, that's how we ran the entire company. Like, if Matt Smith, who's in Portland, sent somebody to my office because they live in Maryland, I would help them as much as they needed, spend as much time with them. And then if I had somebody in Atlanta, Mike Killam would do the same thing. That's how we built it. Like, there's no need for all this, I'm not going to help you if I'm not getting paid. If you just help people, everybody can make money. It's a great business. So you see your ink. What's the most you ever made in the car business?
Upwards of 30,000.
Okay. And your full-time sales?
70 hours a week.
70 hours a week, 30 grand. You made that. You helped 30 families last month. No, you helped me more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your incomes, you made more in 1 month than you made in your best year in the car business.
Yeah.
That's nuts. You got a fiance, girlfriend, wife?
30 grand in a month.
A month. Okay. I was
Yeah,
holy cow.
No. Yeah, not for any year.
Got it. I was like, dude, I thought car sales would mean a lot more than that.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Okay. So 30 a month in the car business. Okay. So you've already surpassed your best month here.
Correct.
And you're just getting started, you think?
Oh, for sure.
Tell me why.
Just because like I said, I truly believe that I am still so new at this and I'm still learning every day, and that the systems that just me and Mike found, in the last 2 weeks when we were down in North Carolina and putting all those automations into the CRM, where basically I'm going to be waking up and I'm going to have, 3, 4, 5 appointments booked on my calendar already just through the automations without me having to pick up a phone and dial.
So how many people do you talk to a day?
2,000 to 3,000. Not like two.
Talk to
probably 100, 150.
Okay. And then how many of the 100, 150 do you present to?
My number is 5 to 7 presentations a day.
And presentation means you've given them prices. You've gotten all the way to the point?
It means I've gone from the open to the middle to the close and asked the final closing question, basically wrapping everything up.
Okay, 5 to 7. Mm-hmm. And so you present the 5 to 7, how many apps?
It depends on the day. That's the crazy thing about phone sales. One day, I'll go 5 for 7. The next day, I'll go 0 for 7.
Okay, so it's the same thing. And that's the way it worked in the field, by the way. Mm-hmm. People are like, you have been really good in the field. No, it's just consistent. I mean, if I sat with you and you had a checking account, you know what I mean? Like you weren't living above your means and you had some extra money, like I'd sell you insurance. But there's scenarios where people just are in a bad situation. They want insurance, but they haven't worked in a year and a half because of COVID and they don't have any money, right? They're down. So you're not writing them a policy. So, and then you find also, like certain areas are better than others as far as like premiums, checking accounts, persistency, placement. I mean, because that's the way it worked when we were going face to face.
In all honesty, I really haven't looked at the data about that. I'm more just it's a name and
just
a number
to
me.
You're a numbers person.
And I got 17 states running right now. I got licensed in 17 different states. So I mean, everything's
you're just rolling. And I think that's part of the reason I think it'll be a lot better too, because. Like I can run mortgage protection all day in Baltimore City, all day. Don't care where I'm at in Baltimore City. That means you have a mortgage, you have a checking account, and you have a job. But I can take final expense, and in certain areas, I'm in trouble. Most of them don't have jobs. A lot of them on help, subsidized help, and they don't have checking accounts. So I think like all that stuff too will get ironed out a little bit. So I can see this, and it's so new with Family First Life, the telesale stuff. So you're leading the way. And you're on bing bong dials every day. Mm-hmm. What time y'all get started?
Starts off right around 7:30, 8 o'clock, depending where you are, obviously, because we got people on the West Coast, East Coast, all over the place, Hawaii even.
I mean, oh, wow.
There's people traveling in Bing Bong that are in different countries selling over the phone.
Just why wouldn't you?
Why not?
If I was single, no kids, no wife, like I would do this from anywhere.
Exactly, and especially countries where you can live at a lot lower rate. Dude,
the guy that does a lot of our tech stuff, like builds our websites and stuff, he lives in, I think, Thailand. Oh. And he lives like a daggone king.
Oh, yeah. You can live like a king
crazy.
There
for no money. So, all right. So if you could give your biggest piece, and I love that you struggled for 3 months, because to me that builds character. And now you're like, all right, I'm getting over the hump. And now you've gotten over the hump and it's just downhill from here. What advice would you give to people to get them through that learning curve? Because if you hang around, you're going to get it just like you did.
Just one day at a time, staying consistent and stay ahead of your head, because this, especially over the phones, it gets in your head so quick. Just like, for instance, yesterday, I got beat up yesterday.
Okay.
All day. Made 3,000 dials, presented to 2 people. Both people basically hung up on me halfway through the presentation. I mean, I got obliterated on the phone.
Sure.
And when I was first getting going with this, I would take that to heart. Oh, it's me. I suck. Yeah. This is never going to work. You're never going to succeed at this. But if you tell yourself that, that's going to come true. But if you do the opposite and you're telling yourself, oh, it's just having a bad day, tomorrow I'm going to refresh. Like I stopped working yesterday at 6.
Right.
I said, all right, I got to reboot. Going to come back. Obviously, I knew it was coming here today, but starting Friday, hopefully I get back today in enough time where I can start dialing later. But starting tomorrow, I'm going to be fresh head, back to square one. And that's
Sure.
how it has to be every day. Every day is a whole new day. You can't think about yesterday, can't think about tomorrow. It's only focusing on one day at a time and getting through that day.
Short-term memory.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, and that's where in the home would be like, dude, I don't know if anybody would say no to you in the home. Like, you stand up and go, I'm leaving. I would go, sit back down. Let me give you a check real quick before you walk out, because you're just huge. You should go on Zoom when people start giving you a hard time. Be like, hey, we're going to switch this to a Zoom, and then just stand up and they'll go like, what'd you say again? How much? Okay, perfect. I got it. No, dude, I love that. I think it's huge. I think that willingness to get beat up, like you said, and it's not personal. It's just it's a numbers game.
100%.
And when did you realize that aspect? Because that's priceless.
Can't really pinpoint a time. All I know is just every day I would show up, every day I would go through the leads, and to me, it's just about always having a new name and a new number to be able to call. Of course, I go back through in my dialer, I probably have 15 to 20,000 leads always sitting in there.
Sure.
And a lot of them are aged. I'll be the first to admit I dial a lot of aged leads, and I love them because they're not getting blown up as much, so they're a lot more receptive. So if you get somebody who's on the phone who actually needs insurance at that point, they're a lot more willing to talk to you at that point, especially if it's a year old, 2 years old, because they kind of forgot about you. The hardest part at that point is just reeling them back into, what they were feeling when they filled out that form.
No doubt. Dude, this is priceless. I love and we're excited you came up to shoot some training, which is huge. And I know you're willing, like you're all over our social media stuff, helping, commenting, which is what we need. More team players like you. Guys, it's nothing else other than getting through and figuring it out for yourself. But it is a numbers game. The minute you realize that it doesn't matter what they say, a no and a yes is just as important. Got to get through the no's, get through the yeses. It becomes a lot easier. And you could do, how many families are you going to help in August?
Dude, I'm shooting for 50.
Where are you at now? How many?
I'm shooting for 50. But the biggest thing also is you got to realize, especially when you're getting up and going, you need to give this thing 3 or 4 months of full production before it really starts flowing. And I'm sure you know that from the field, because right now I got a lot of post dates, a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So a lot of that's got to catch up. Because I know last month I had a very, very good month, but also half my business went to August. And the same thing's happening this month where half my business is going to September. So
especially with final expense. And guys, that is we're going to end it with that, because that's the best piece of advice you can give somebody. Give yourself 3 to 4 months, 5 months if you have to get this thing going. And if you do, things will take off. And this is a consistent. You don't have to worry about microchips to make cars. You don't have to worry about somebody telling you can come to work, you can't come to work. Bro, you work out of your house.
Out of my house, wherever I want to be. And
that's right.
It's all automated.
All automated. So, Matt, thank you so much for coming in. I greatly appreciate you. Guys, if you have any questions, reach out to Matt. He's always willing to help. He's one of the guys that again, will build this thing massively just because you're willing to help so many people, and that's a beautiful thing. So, appreciate y'all. Until next time, make it a big week.